Well, hello, how are we? And welcome back to the final instalment of Aaron the Alien and the Chris Mussy Wussy Fuss Jeery Deer. It's part 2, chapter 2, and this will be a little longer. I've decided not to break it up because obviously we all want to relax on Christmas Day. You know, it's Christmas Eve, so you know it's yeah. So I'm just going to push through to the end on this, okay? So I hope you're enjoying it. So let's recap where we were yesterday. We finished with Timmy. That's what they lost their footing, didn't they? And they slipped down to the bottom, and at the bottom there was this water monster waiting for them. So the last lines were they ran out of the room, and back up the slope, but they did not get far. The slope is too slippery, said Aaron. I know, shouted Timmy, as he lost his footing and slipped back down to the bottom. They stood up. Timmy gulped loudly. The creature was waiting for them at the bottom. He was translucent, like water, and shaped like a badly made snowman. So that was the end of part 2, chapter 1, and here we go with part 2, chapter 2. So, Aaron, next time you ask me to come and see a planet, remind me to say no. There is no escape for me now. Ha 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 ha. Now you die. Timmy flinched and put his arms across his face as the creature shot them both several times at point blank range. Aaron, why aren't we dead? The pair stood there soaked, water running down their arms and dripping off their hands. He was firing water at us, Timmy. It's only water. Ooh, what I'd give for a bucket of water right now, said Timmy, folding his arms and screwing up his face. I'm not sure, Timmy, but considering the thing is made out of water, I'm not convinced that throwing a bucket of water over it would harm it or do any good. You mean water doesn't hurt you? The water snowman asked. No, it doesn't, replied Aaron. Oh, I was hoping it would kill you. Why do you want to kill us? Screamed Timmy. You were trying to kill me? No, we weren't, said Aaron. So why was you standing on my head then? Said the creature, rubbing his head. I didn't know it was your head. How am I supposed to know it was your head? All I saw was a puddle of water on the floor, said Timmy. I was doing my yoga, replied the watery snowman. Well, we apologise, don't we, Timmy? Yes, I'm sorry, but I really did not realise that the puddle on the floor was, well, alive. Why are you here anyway? Who are you? Snow Glower Flojo sent us. He said you may be able to help us with our quest, replied Aaron. You on a quest? Sounds exciting. What is it? We are on a quest to find the last Chris Muddy Pudding Cheery beer, replied Timmy, looking rather pleased with himself. No, Timmy, it's Chris Fussy Choking Bleary Tear. I think you both mean the Chris Mussy Wussy Fuss Jeery Deer? Yes, that's it, shouted Aaron and Tim in unison. You are on a quest indeed, and an important one, perhaps even a foolish one. Why a foolish one? Asked Timmy. Because no one knows how much truth there is to it. Snow Glower Flojo seemed pretty certain, replied Aaron. I think you had better come inside. We are, aren't we? No, this is just the reception room. He turned to walk away and led them through a hidden entrance into another room. There were chairs that appeared to be made out of water, and a table along with more plants and what looked like to be some kind of monitor and computer. Please take a seat, said their mystery host. We can't sit on that, we'll go through it, said Aaron. No, you won't, the watery snowman replied. Timmy went over and sat in the big armchair. He bounced around like he was on a waterbed. Aaron, you have to try one of these, they're awesome. I'm Aaron and this is Timmy. What's your name? My name is Wobobalob-Fob. Wobobalob-Fob took a seat himself. The creature is a myth, but there has been ice carvings discovered that depicts the events, and stories have been handed down through generations as some creatures on this planet live to be very old. So why did Snow Glower Flojo, yeah, I was right, sorry, send us to you? Because I've been studying the legend for years, and I believe I've at last made a breakthrough. I found a new set of carvings in the mountains and discovered a bizarre tribal symbol etched into the wall. When I got home to make a copy, I happened to glance at it the wrong way up and realised that it was a map. You found a treasure map? How cool is that? Said Timmy. Are you sure it's a treasure map? Asked Aaron. Too many coincidences not to be, replied Wobble-Lob-Frob. So why haven't you checked it out yourself? Asked Timmy. Simply because it leads you to a gargantuan killing machine that either wants to kidnap you for eternity or have you for lunch. If you will let us see the map, we will go, said Aaron. You obviously did not hear the part about the terrifying killing machine, said Timmy. Timmy, that seems to be an everyday occurrence for us, replied Aaron with a smile. True, said Timmy, shrugging his shoulders. He wondered if he really was getting used to nearly being killed or eaten every time he set out on an adventure with Aaron. Well, Wobble-Lob-Frob got up, went to a shelf and picked up what looked like a yellow piece of rubber. He rolled it out onto the watery table. You were right, it does look like a tribal symbol, said Timmy. It looks like a complete mess if you ask me, said Aaron, leaning over to get a better look. Where are we? Inquired Timmy. You are here. That weird squiggle shape is the lake outside, Wobble-Lob-Frob said, pointing to the map. And that diamond shape is the place where we have to go. Yes, that's right. It's across the lake through the forest and left at the fork, said Wobble-Lob-Frob, with his finger hovering over the large squiggle. Timmy picked it up. It felt rubbery. Ugh, it feels weird. If we can find a fast way across the lake, we'll nearly be there, said Timmy, inspecting the map. I may be able to help you with that, but that is not your biggest worry, replied Wobble-Lob-Frob. Why not? Asked Timmy. Because across the lake is a forbidden place. It is the only area of the planet no one dare tread. There is a sinister forest there that no one has ever come out of. Do you actually know anybody was tried? Asked Timmy. I have a feeling you're about to, said Timmy, putting a hand over his eyes and shaking his head. No, I don't, but you'll see for yourself. Okay, how do we get across the lake? Asked Aaron. Tell me you have jet skis, chipped in Timmy. Not exactly. Follow me, said Wobble-Lob-Frob. They walked back up to the surface and stood at the edge of the lake, while Wobble-Lob-Frob leant over and stuck his face in the water. He popped back up. Shouldn't be long. Now pay attention. If you live to make it past the wood, there will be a fork in the path. You must take the left-hand side. It will lead to some mountains. From what I can make out, somewhere along that path is a hidden cave. Thanks for all your help, Wobble-Lob-Frob. We will be back if we find anything, and that is a promise, said Timmy. Unless we both get killed, said Aaron. Cheers, Aaron. As helpful as ever, replied Timmy. It was nice meeting you both, and I wish you the best of luck. Ah, here comes your vehicles. Aaron and Timmy turned around excitedly. There in front of them were two huge dolphin-like creatures. They had giant flippers and seemed to have curly hair on their heads. The fins were at the wrong angles. Two of them formed a tail at the end of its body. There was also a large T-shaped dorsal fin and a weird frying pan-shaped side ones. The creatures turned around and put their tails out. Aaron and Timmy got on the tail, ran up the back and sat on the dorsal fin. They turned around and waved goodbye to Wobble-Lob-Frob, who waved back. Then, to their complete surprise, the strange dolphin-like creatures, instead of swimming through the water, stood up and started sprinting across it. with their tails and flippers. With their tails and flippers. They were exceedingly fast too. I wasn't expected that, shouted Timmy, laughing. Neither was I, Aaron shouted back. It wasn't long before they reached the other side of the lake, despite its size. They jumped off and thanked the fish by waving at them inanely and shouting thank you in particularly loud voices. They headed for the path ahead of them. Purple-faced mountains were either side. The path led into a valley that looked to be a large cave, but the blackness soon turned into the familiar shape of trees. That is the eeriest wood I've ever seen, Aaron. It looks so strange, and so does the path leading into it. It almost looks like a cartoon, replied Timmy. I think we should take it slow and see what happens, said Aaron. Yeah, okay then. The pair walked slowly toward the creepy forest, and as they got close, they saw something moving far up the path. It was a weird red shape. The closer it got, the bigger it got. Then they started making out sharp teeth and spiked arms. It was galloping full pelt, smashing its teeth together and charging right at them. Back to the water, yelled Aaron, laughing. You're telling me, replied Timmy, running as fast as he could. Timmy glanced behind him and looked back into the forest. Aaron, stop, it's gone. Are you sure? Said Aaron, stopping and turning around. I can't see it. That kind of worries me. Where is it? Maybe it's invisible, replied Aaron. Aaron, you really do have to say the worst possible thing, don't you? Well, it could be. What do you think? What do you think? We can't turn back now, even though secretly I really want to, said Timmy, putting his hands on his hips. Let's try again, but walk a bit slower, perhaps. Yeah, that's a plan, replied Timmy. They walked forward, and once again, as they neared the wood, the creature came belting down the forest path like a staffy after a postman. They turned and fled back to the water, but kept turning their head back to see where the creature went. Did you see that, Aaron? It just disappeared. Yes, it did, didn't it? Do you trust me? If you mean, do I trust you to get me nearly killed every time I step out of my house, then yes. Excellent, Timmy. Then you'll be pleased to hear that this will be no exception. Let's walk towards the path, but do not run, no matter what. They kept walking, even when the giant tooth and claw-filled monster came charging at them. When it got really close, they could bear it no longer and stopped. Timmy clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. Ah! He shouted and shut his eyes as the creatures reached them. Just as I thought, remarked Aaron. Timmy opened his eyes. It's gone. Where did it go? It disappeared, literally. I think we should go in, said Aaron. Yes, but Aaron, we're on an alien planet. Maybe this is the edge of its territory and it has the ability to disappear. I say we find out. Come on. Yes, sir, said Timmy, following him. Aaron, why is nothing moving? What do you mean? Look at the forest. Nothing is moving at all. Not one insect or tree branch. Well, let us enter the forest and see, replied Aaron. They both took a step forward and walked into a huge silk-like net. It's some sort of screen. That creature was not even real, said Timmy. Aaron poked the screen, watched it stretch. Suddenly it disintegrated and a whole new wood was unveiled before their eyes. They were left with pleasant-looking trees that looked like they might belong in the jungle rather than at the foot of the mountains. They had large leathery leaves that seemed to be riding and jostling about. Well, this looks a lot more inviting, don't you think? Yeah, I do. Come on, I think we are safe now, replied Aaron as they set off down the path. Ow! What did you slap me for, Timmy? Shrieked Aaron. I didn't, honest, replied Timmy, throwing his hands up. They carried on walking. Ah, Aaron, I told you I didn't slap you. There's no need to slap my back of my head. I didn't, Timmy, honest, said Aaron, throwing all four of his hands up. You're taking the mick, Aaron. If I said I didn't slap you, I didn't slap you. And likewise, Timmy. Watch out, yelled Aaron. Timmy ducked as one of the huge leaves swung down and tried to slap him. Whoa, Timmy, that was... Out of nowhere, a large leaf grabbed hold of Aaron, picked him up, threw him up into the air and hit him like a tennis ball. He went flying through the air until another tree hit him back. Timmy thought this was hilarious and was doubled over with laughter until he found himself also flying through the air at immense speed. Back and forth they went all around the forest. Timmy thought to himself at least they were headed in the right direction. Suddenly a large leaf grabbed him and he held him still. Aaron was not far away, also being held in a giant leaf. Why have they stopped, Aaron? I don't know, oranges at half time perhaps? Timmy noticed the leaf felt weird and rubbery, but it also meant that its tight grip was not too uncomfortable. He managed to pull his arms free. He looked at the tree that was holding him. It did not look like any on earth, but essentially it did look like a tree. No face or giant mouth. Timmy had an idea. Suddenly the tree started shaking and let out a really loud girly squeal. Aaron, they're ticklish, yelled Timmy. Aaron started tickling one of the branches and it too started squealing and shaking. Soon all the trees were giggling and shaking. Aaron and Timmy were dropped to the floor and the entire forest ran off into the mountains. I'm glad this isn't rock, Aaron. That's what it hurt, said Timmy, feeling the soft clay. At least we made some progress. Yes, but now we have to go the rest of the way with a huge boring landscape. I can't believe the trees ran off. Remember on Bedger Tedge when you... Enough, Aaron, said Timmy, smiling in recollection. The earth was purple like the mountains, but Timmy felt himself slowly sinking into the soft clay. He remembered when he used to sink in the mud by the stream at the back of his house and would get told off for coming home all muddy. Aaron and Timmy spotted the path and were relieved to realise that it could take their weight. They walked off towards the mountains, following the path which was still easily visible. After about an hour, they were walking on solid rock and saw the fork up ahead of them. You know what, Aaron? We are here already. This hasn't been so bad, has it? I mean, nothing except the scariest hologram I've ever seen. The ground started to shake and shudder. You had to say something, didn't you, Timmy? Said Aaron. And that is the end of part 2. So, look, I really would love to hear from you because I haven't actually written the next part, so sorry about that. Yeah, so I do want to finish it. I will finish it anyway, I think, but I'd be interested to know whether you'd be looking forward to that. Perhaps I can do it next year. And just to say, these recordings have I've just kind of been reading off, you know, so I'd like to get them a bit more professional for you in the future. And for those who have been following the videos, just a quick note that did you notice, because this is an old piece of work and I have edited it, but I haven't edited it recently, and writing improves over time, so I'll talk about this in another video. But did you notice the amount of wells? Remember what I said? Well, there's a lot of wells in there, yeah? So yes, and kids, do not play with lighters. Yes, this is a fictional story. Do not ever do that, please. But yeah, so I just want to kind of say thank you very, very much for listening. Please comment, like, subscribe, share, and thank you very much for your time. I really have enjoyed reading this to you. I really enjoyed writing it, and you know, this is part of the joys of being a writer. So yes, you know, God bless, Merry Christmas, and ho ho ho. Cheers, bye bye.